Cactus 1549, turn left heading 270.
This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds through lost thrust on both engines, returning back towards LaGuardia.
Okay, you need to return to LaGuardia. Turn left heading up 220.
Hey everyone, this is Matt from Codemic, and welcome to the modern legacy of US Airways. If you haven't seen my previous video on America West, go ahead and watch that before you watch this, so it makes a little more sense. In this video, we're going to be dealing with the post-America West merger of US Airways, so our timeline starts around 2005. Let's get started. When America West merged with US Airways, it was more of a takeover. US Airways was bankrupt and on the verge of total collapse. America West was an up-and-coming regional airline that had its sights set on a nationwide expansion. Market studies showed that the US Airways brand was more recognizable than the America West brand, so the new airline decided to be called US Airways, and America West was officially retired. Some parts of America West lived on in the new airline, with the call sign used being Cactus, and the identifier AWE, or America West, also being used for all US Airways flights. By May of 2006, both the airlines' websites were merged, and an order for 20 new Airbus A350 aircraft was put in place. But this was only the beginning of the expansion years. Just 1 year after America West and US Airways merged, the now US Airways attempted to do it again. At the end of 2006, US Airways launched a hostile takeover attempt on the major US carrier Delta Airlines. US Airways bid $10 billion for control of Delta. Delta's senior management fought hard against the merger, and it was called off on January 31st, 2007. With the failed merger with Delta now in the past, the company looked to improve its service and systems, with the old Sabre reservation system retired and America West's former Quick system put into place. The FAA certificates were also merged on September 25th, 2007, finally making the merger truly complete. Whereas America West had a reputation for quality and friendly service, the new US Airways did not. The airline ranked last in many surveys in the late 2000s, and for a time even stopped serving complimentary drinks. On-time percentages dropped, and the Pittsburgh hub was closed. To top off their service troubles, the pilots' union was causing internal conflict, further distracting leadership from improving the overall terrible service. After another failed merger attempt, this time with United Airlines, US Airways closed its Las Vegas hub. This Las Vegas hub had been an essential part of America West's early growth. These were truly dark times for the airline. January 15th, 2009 started off like any other day, with passengers boarding their flight, not knowing that they were about to experience one of the most famous modern US air disasters. A US Airways Airbus A320, registered as N106US, took off from LaGuardia Airport before striking birds immediately after takeoff. Through heroic actions and efforts by the pilot Chelsea Sullenberger and his co-pilot, they were able to ditch their jet in the Hudson River, saving all 150 passengers and 5 crew members. The image would become iconic, with the US Airways name and logo clearly visible on the sinking aircraft. The miracle on the Hudson marks a turning point for the post-merger US Airways. The airline finally started to look like its old America West self. Beginning in early 2010, US Airways started a new mission to streamline its operations in order to improve quality and service, something that had been lost in recent years. The airline continued to close or reduce services by closing its Las Vegas, Boston, and New York LaGuardia focus cities. US Airways, and what's becoming almost a running gag, attempted another merger with a US airline. This time it was with a familiar partner, United. These discussions progressed to very advanced stages before United called off the merger, only to merge with Continental Airlines later that year. Perhaps it was being distracted by a near-constant merger talks that made the airline again lose focus on its commitment to quality and its customers. Throughout the early 2010s, the airline continued to be ranked last or near the bottom on major surveys of the industry. US Airways was even voted as the 6th most hated company in America by Business Insider. The airline had to do something to save its image and reputation, And as usual, management decided the best way to do this would be through a merger. This one would actually prove to be successful. In January of 2012, American Airlines was bankrupt and on the verge of its own collapse. Its CEO, Tom Horton, expressed interest in a merger to save the company, so US Airways stepped up to the plate. Through a year of negotiations, the merger was approved, and on February 14, 2013, it was announced that they would merge to become the largest airline in the world. The globally recognizable American Airlines name would be kept, although its entire brand was scrapped and refreshed to make it better reflect this new global powerhouse. Doug Parker, the former America West CEO, would become the new CEO of American Airlines. The man who had started at the little airline that could was now the leader of the largest airline in the world. The Cactus call sign was retained for 2 years until being retired on April 8, 2015. The final flight with US Airways branding took place on October 17, 2015. The flight took off as US Airways Flight 1939, the year the company was founded, and landed as American Airlines Flight 1939. This was the end of the tumultuous decade for US Airways. From the highs of the Miracle on the Hudson to the lows of being voted the worst airline in the country, it was truly a journey. In the end, American Airlines chose to remain headquartered in Fort Worth. The former America West and US Airways headquarters in Phoenix was closed and sold off. This was the beginning of a new era with new challenges ahead, with Doug Parker leading the way. This has been the story of US Airways, or should I say, America West. Well, I guess it now would be American Airlines. This was an incredibly interesting story to research, and I look forward to covering the American Airlines of 2013 to present in a future video. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and check out other legacy and abandoned history videos here on the channel. If you want some cool Codemic merchandise, look for the link to my Teespring store in the description below. And finally, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see ya real soon.